So the streamers at Tubi, we've learned a lot, especially in the last year as we've seen massive growth on the platform, and the entire streaming industry has seen a huge influx. And for Tubi, we've really, because of this massive growth, I mean, we have access to millions of active users monthly, consuming a lot of content. And last year alone, they consumed 2.5 billion hours of content. And throughout this last year, we've really uncovered what their behaviors are, what content they like to watch, and then ultimately, more detail around their basic demographics. And at a high level, our audience is young, diverse, and dispersed across the US, so they're nationally representative. And on average, we find that the Tubi streamer is 20 years younger than the linear viewer.
Great. So a lot of competition for eyeballs for streamers, a lot of big guns out there. You guys have done a big national brand campaign. Tell us about that, what your expectations are, and some results and how that went.
Yeah, so we are actually just coming down from our first national brand campaign, which launched at the end of January. So we're really off to the races in early on this year. And this focus was really to drive mass appeal and drive awareness of the Tubi brand and the availability of all of the free content that's available for consumers. And for us, it's really important to focus on free because unlike other platforms, we don't use free as a tease. We use it as a vehicle to drive consumption. And we do that with offering diverse mass level of content, 30,000 movies and TV shows, both, fueled by Fox with Fox favorite shows, but also diverse mix of different genres, both across movies and TV. And with that offering, it translates into the diversity and youth of our audience that's attracted to the platform. So as I mentioned, the campaign just closed actually on Sunday, and so the results are preliminary, but we have seen overall awareness lifts across all key demos, and our goal is to continue to build momentum and drive awareness for the Tubi brand throughout this year.
So Natalie, tell us a little bit more about the audience report, the profile of the streamer. Let's expand on that a little bit, if you would.
Yeah, so in addition to the Tubi audience being young, diverse, and nationally representative, what we found is that our audience is unique to linear TV, to cable TV, and even to other free AVOD services. In fact, we found, just looking at our own partner in Fox, the Tubi's audience is 64% incremental to the Fox broadcast viewer. And when you look at cable networks, the top 25, looking at the top 25 cable networks, Tubi's audience is 80% incremental. So that translates into this desire of an audience that's moving away from traditional TV, but also there's a hunger for free ad-supported content. And that's where consumers are really finding a home with Tubi.
So tell us about some case studies that you've done showcasing the value of Tubi ad experience and how streaming is perceived among advertisers over linear. What's going on there?
So looking at the consumption that we've seen in the platform, it's really driven not only by the vast amount of content that we have on the platform, but the experience of which that content is viewed. And the big piece that we see a driver is just the overall ad experience. And yes, we are ad supported, but we pride ourselves in having the lowest ad load in the industry. And we actually recently launched an advanced frequency management tool to allow brands to better optimize their frequency, which translates into just a better overall ad experience for brands. And in addition to that, we found that other third-party measurement vendors are able to tap into our audience and blend over with campaigns and drive additional results for brands as well throughout the entire funnel.
So Natalie, finally, I know you're involved with marketing, not just to consumers, but also to the trade, to the buy side. What is the perception in the marketplace around AVOD? I mean, that's a rather broad. It's changing quickly. There's a lot of players. How is Tubi being presented, and what is sort of the values that you hope they understand, or things that they should be understanding in terms of the value that you bring?
Yeah, we spent a lot of time within the buying community talking one-to-one to brands. We actually launched a client advisory board earlier this year to sit down with key decision makers and understand their desires for OTT and for AVOD players, but also the pain points that they're experiencing. And that, that information is helping to fuel our focus, especially going to upfronts and for the year ahead. And some of the key things that we find that we've heard from brands is, one, finding those incremental audiences, but validating that these audiences are in fact incremental to their existing TV buy. And so so when looking at the Tubi audience, that's something that we want to make sure is a key and clear takeaway, that Tubi's audience is incremental not only to traditional cable, but in addition to that, incremental to other AVODs. And as brands continue to look for mass scale and reach, it's not a one-stop shop for streaming yet. It's a combined approach. And so it's important to differentiate and also show how the Tubi's audience is complementary to other players in the space as well.